Hey, I'm Maria back with another video. It's 6:07 p.m. Tuesday evening, February 13th. And I'm sitting here. I got out of the shower a while ago, and I'm just kind of listening to some soothing music, which helps me think, and everyone knows that Maria thinks a little bit too much at times. But in sometimes it's kind of a good thing. But anyway, I was thinking about this whole thing, and please, like I said, I'm not the kind of person that likes to be presumptuous or assume things, that kind of stuff, but your brain starts to unscramble a lot of this stuff, right? And it gets to be overwhelming to where it's very difficult to keep it to yourself, okay? Because you have to express it. I mean, it's I'm in a situation where I'm kind of socially isolated, and some of it's by choice, but and some of it's just kind of forced upon me because of rumors and shit like that. But anyway, I was thinking about the involvement of Mr. Cute Guy. For some reason, I keep getting in my mind that his mother is also involved in this. And hi, if you are. Hi, Mrs. Lyles. I always thought you were really cute. Sorry about bothering you all the time, but I couldn't help it. Your son was really cute. But anyway, that's cool. I'm not mad at you guys. Really, I'm not. I guess I understand that sort of thinking. I do, but there's really no reason to not trust me, if that's the case, okay? Because I would really hate to assume that, Stephen Lyles was after me, and then I'd get all excited about stuff like that, and it's only to find out this is something completely different. But I mean, it just kind of makes sense, okay? And a lot of this is intuitive, okay? But you have to understand that most of the time, intuition is formulated based off outside things. So, like, for example, when you get exposed to certain things, you may not pick up on it right away, but your brain is taking note of it, and sometimes later on in the evening while you're sleeping or you're doing something or whatever, your brain gets into a certain state and it starts to compute certain things and pick it apart, and then it starts to reveal. And of course I do have a gift of intuition, but in this situation, it's like when you look back at stuff, it kind of makes sense. So anyway, I'm not mad at you guys, really. I'm not. If that's the case, which I do. I mean, I wouldn't be opening my mouth about it if I didn't have a really good feeling or I wasn't pretty sure about it. But I am kind of sure about it, to be honest with you, but I don't want to come off like I'm a know-it-all. So trying to be humble here. Anyway, no, I mean, I do understand. And sometimes people do things like that because, they might think that somebody is going to meet somebody at work or whatever. I don't do that at work. I don't do that anywhere. I don't meet people. I don't really, I just kind of go about my business. But if I was going to meet somebody, it would probably be, like at the grocery store or something like that. I don't mix certain things with work, because it's really important for someone like me to have a good reputation, general good reputation. I mean, aside from, like I said, my work, not my work, it's like it's my life or anything, but I do realize it's the way I take care of myself as a single woman, and I don't want to ever do anything that's going to jeopardize my reputation or anything like that, So I try to live my life in a way where people can't say, well, this, and this, okay? Well, people ended up doing it anyway, right? But you always find that it's unfounded and it's wrong. So I try really hard not to. Actually, it's not even an issue with me because when I go to work, I go to work. Okay, like I said, it's my source of income. So therefore, I have to make sure I'm doing a good job, and try to be, beyond reproach, I guess. So no, I don't do that. I've seen a lot of people who do that, and some people look at that as normal, and I guess it is. But if you're someone like me, that can't even, be considered. But I've always liked, your son, and really, I mean, obviously, if I'm going to sit here and call you at all hours of the day, or walk from the east side all the way to the west side. Obviously, I must like your son. So, and I've always thought he was something, kind of really cool, but I'm not, you know, um, I'm not interested in doing that sort of stuff at work, you know. Um, some people, think that because you dress up for work or whatever, oh, that's just who I am, Each woman has her own individual style. Some women, wear slacks. I'm more of a slacks person. I would say that my clothes are professional. Maybe some of my personal clothes, if you were to go through those racks, you might think, well, that skirt's a little too short. I don't know about that. Well, you're probably right, maybe, but I don't really wear them that much, I do when the laundry's dirty, I guess, but whatever. I think I dress quite modestly, really, especially for work. I'm very modest in my clothes, and there's nothing really that should give off that vibe, unless, of course, somebody kind of created some sort of, what do you call it, attention, unnecessary attention, and then it just kind of catches on like wildfire because everybody's, kind of mimicking the actions of other people. But no, I mean, that's not, I go to work, I'm very, very concerned about, taking care of myself, and so I can't take chances like that, I just can't. So anyway, and that, and forgive me for talking about you guys, but, hey, I'm sitting here, shouldering the burden of all this crap, right? So I figure, I'll go ahead and make this video, which I'm in the mood to talk anyway. I mean, I don't have an outlet, really, I mean, I'm very grateful for my wonderful Canadian friend. You can only text so much, and, but these videos are therapeutic for me because I get to talk about things that I've experienced, what's going on in my mind, and, it's a relief to me, I will say, when all this started, it did give me the feeling that, something really bad or dark was around, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that it wasn't, okay, because there was a lot of just evil. I could feel the evil directed towards me, and it was pretty creepy. Gossiping and all this other crazy crap. I'm like, okay. They actually probably made me sound much more interesting than I really am, because you know how people exaggerate stuff, it's always this really far-fetched shit that they have no real knowledge of, but they just kind of make it up, and it just gets out of control, so whatever. But no, I mean, I was thinking about that, and I'm not angry at you guys. I'm angry at the employment issues. And why I'm angry at that is because it's understandable. Like, for example, I would probably do that with Steve if I thought I could, like, lure him in, or or I could, like, somehow be around him in a way where, like, I could, know what he's doing all the time, especially back then. God, if they had surveillance back then, oh, they did, but, if I knew about it, I probably would have resorted to something silly like that. I fully understand bullshit. Okay, I do. I understand how that works, but, what was I going to say? I probably would. It's kind of normal for people to do that sort of stuff, okay? But the reason why we have laws in place is because, it does violate the rights of the particular individual, no matter how well-intentioned it is. Like me, I had no idea that this was what was going on. You know what I mean? And so I'm sure a lot of people who are freaked out that the government is after them, that's not really necessarily the case. It's more like, somebody might have like a secret admirer, somebody might have whatever, going on. And there's a girl on YouTube that I really suspect that that's her issue too. You know what I mean? I haven't had a chance to talk to her about it, but it might, give her some peace of mind, because a lot of people don't know what's going on with them. And when I didn't know what was going on, it really brought a feeling of terror towards me, to me. I mean, it was extremely terrifying, for me to, like, wondering what is going on, because all I could feel was like hatred. You know what I mean? And I kept thinking, what the hell did I do? And I mean, I mean, it's easy to go back in my memory bank to find out what I did, because I don't do anything. You know what I mean? I especially in the last 10 years, you know what I mean? I mean, my life is just so humdrum. It's predictable, which I wish I would like to do more things, be more social and do different things. But it's just like, I really have no idea what's around me, really, to be honest with you. But anyway, and what I mean by social is, like, go out and do different things, go traveling a little bit, and, venture out more. So anyway, but yeah, I mean, it brings terror, because, you go in for a job or whatever, and, people are behaving in contradictory ways, and you know that this is not supposed to be happening, and yet it's happening, and you're wondering why. And you get the sense of, well, something's not quite right. So, and you wonder why. Why are people doing this to you? And then you start fear. I mean, extreme fear starts to come over you. You know what I mean? And so, of course, when the people who are behind it, they don't think anything about that. They might think, well, she's just overacting. They don't really know the kind of fear that's going on in a person. It is extremely, extremely terrorizing. But then again, maybe you thought that I was a freak when I was younger. And so I guess maybe, you can call it even, I guess. I don't know, whatever. But it's just understanding, you know what I mean? It's understanding from other people's perspective. How would it be on your end? Like, for example, I don't know why, but I keep thinking, for some reason, if I remember correctly, I thought you were like a nurse or something. I keep thinking, I think you were a nurse, maybe. At least that's how I remember what I remember. But like, if you were a nurse and then you went into, an agency or something, and somebody kept redirecting you and kept, saying one thing, and then you're like, wait, that's contrary to whatever. You can't help it. Like, what the heck's going on? What's going on? Something is weird, and you wonder, what is it? Do you have an enemy? Why is this happening? And yeah, I mean, it's just, it's normal to feel that way. So just so you know what from my end, what was going through my mind, And then I had a weird dream about your son. Yeah, this video is for you, Mrs. Lawless. I had a dream about your son a few months ago. I would say maybe 8, maybe 9 months ago. And that's what started the whole thing of me putting it together bit by bit. You know what I mean? I had no idea that he was involved in any of it at all. At all. But my intuition never fails me. You know what I mean? And the way the dream kind of unraveled, it made me think that this might be the solution, or the main part of it, And everybody has a certain amount of intuition, I just tend to tune into mine more because that's what I've basically been trained to do. Not through other people, but just because I've had so much time on my hands, and just was in a situation or position where I could do that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it is kind of terrorizing. And then, of course, you got these weird freaks out here who know who you are because of the commotion, and then they want to sit here and mess with you and whatever. I'm trying to edit as much profanity as I possibly can, because I really want to show respect. But, I'm in my own home and I'm in a relaxed mood, so something might slip out, and please do forgive me if it does. But, I was just a little puzzled, you know what I mean, for a very, very long time. And, like, tense and nervous and, like, what the heck's going on, And that's it, it's just, it freaks you out. It does, it freaks you out. I probably freaked you out, too, back then. I mean, some weird girl calling you all the time and hanging up on the phone, you know, and just, you know, but hey, I was like in my teens and early 20s at that time, you know. I could blame that on my youth, I guess. I'm just kidding, but no, I'm not mad at you guys, but I am kind of pissed off, like I said, at the employers, because they should know better. They should be able to say, well, this is not right. They know laws. They know, you know, what things are and not supposed to be happening. They should know. And if they don't know, well, then obviously we have a problem. And that's what my biggest issue is, okay? In this case, you know, if I'm right, which I'm hoping that I am, well, then that's great for me because I've always liked Steven, okay? But for a lot of women, you know, they're being held back and being reserved for men that they may not have any interest in at all. And for these women, that's truly psychological terror because now their entire life is just wrecked, okay? And now people are kind of putting a situation in place where they're going to be with somebody that they didn't ask to be with, okay? Now, I think Stephen Lyles, your son, is just like adorable, you know, and I've always liked him. So it's a pleasant surprise, you know. But in a lot of women's cases, it is extremely terrorizing. And this girl that I suspect on YouTube who may be going through the same thing, you know, who knows if you know, she would like that person or not. And if she's not, she's suffering for basically nothing. You know what I mean? And that's terrorizing. And you get, you know, employers and stuff like that who back other people back into this, and they do all this kind of stuff. And then the woman ends up completely devastated. You know what I mean? Or even worse, getting forced into a relationship or being persuaded into a relationship she doesn't want to be in. You know what I mean? So in my situation, I think that's wonderful if Steven is at the end of this rainbow. But for a lot of women, it's a nightmare. You know what I mean? And so that's why I think it's important to talk about it, because women's rights are getting stomped out and their lives are getting thrashed, and you got people promoting that. That's my issue. You know what I mean? So anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. I will be back with another one later. Have a wonderful evening. And hey, you know what? Sorry about all that stuff, Mrs. Lyles, you know, but your son's so darn cute. Wrap up this video. Be back with another one later. Bye-bye.